Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Alright, I managed to scrape together the shekels in the RP to be able to purchase the F3D-1 Skyknight. Let me tell you something about this plane. It is utterly unremarkable. It is not fast. It does not carry a great enough bomb load to be worthy of being called an attacker. It is unmaneuverable in the vertical. It is horrible in the horizontal, although better than a lot of 8.0, 9.0 fighters because of its straight wings. But its lack of speed hampers it severely. Now, some are going to go, but it's a attacker. It's not an attacker. It's a night fighter. And until we get radar systems and night battles only for this plane, it's really not worth taking out. Now, I did manage to take it out on a couple of missions. One was on the Korea map, and the other was on the Spain map. The Korea map, I never got to the battlefield because the enemy bombers and the enemy fighters were both there before I was, and I had an air start. That's unacceptable. On the Spain map, I was actually able to get to the ground targets area, take out a couple of tanks and a couple of boats, and then I was jumped and destroyed by a fighter. And that brings up another topic of the spotting mechanic in this game, because I never saw him coming and I was looking. But as of right now, the F3D Skyknight, F3D-1 Skyknight, is a 7.0 plane at the absolute best. After I got utterly humiliated in a couple of matches, I took it out in test flight just to see what its top speed was, and I could get to 470 miles an hour at 56 feet off the deck. That's not good. That's really bad. Because that means that the P-47M is faster than this plane. And you know with jets, the higher you go, the slower it is. Because it requires more and more air, and you can't bring it in quick enough. This plane definitely needs a battle rating reduction, big time. Not in a little way, in a big way. It's not fast enough to catch a jet bomber. It doesn't climb fast enough to catch a prop bomber. It's not fast enough to catch a fighter, and it's not maneuverable enough to stay out of a fighter's grasp. Enemy fighters at 8.0 and 9.0 can engage and disengage at their leisure. Hell, even fighters at 7.0 can do the same. They're going to be faster, they're going to be more maneuverable, and I mean, the worst fighter that it will go up against is probably the Vampire. And the Vampire is faster. and more maneuverable. And just as heavily armed, 420mm cannons. So, does this plane deserve to be an 8.0 fighter bomber? Nope, not in the least. Not in the bloody least. The only way that the Skyknight would be an 8.0 is if we get the F3D-1 M, which carried 4 Sparrow AIM-7 missiles, radar-guided missiles. And I've already explained how that would work. And they are possible. It's just a matter of Gaijin giving the okay and finding the Soviet equivalent. But as of right now, the F3D Skyknight is going to be a curiosity on the battlefield for one reason. It just isn't fast enough to survive. Don't get me wrong, I think it's an absolutely gorgeous model. They have really done their homework as far as modeling this plane. They even have the bumper there in the back, right there. And if you don't know what that's for, it's to keep the tail from striking when it's landing and taking off. I thought that was absolutely great when I figured out what that was for. But the plane needs to be radar-equipped night fighter. The F3D-1 is just too slow to survive against the planes that it's matched up against. Now I realize Gaijin will probably do a battle rating adjustment for the plane, and this plane desperately needs one. I'd like to see it get that adjustment. I'd like to see it get its radar and be equipped for night fighting. But as a daytime fighter, it is completely outclassed by everything in the jet range, with the possible exception of the Yak-15P. And the only reason that might be a plane that it outclasses is because it's a little bit faster than a Yak-15. Yak-15 is still more maneuverable. So that's pretty much it for the F3D. It's a beautiful model, but it definitely deserves the Marine name Drut. If you don't know what that is, read the word backwards. And it's spelled D-R-U-T. But for those of you with tender sensibilities, we'll just call it Willie the Whale. Y'all have a pleasant day, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the skies. This is Subdude signing off. Bye-bye.